Hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess, and we have okra from the garden. Now, some of this okra came from the Amish. One of the Amish ladies had an overabundance, and she gave me a bag of okra. She didn't want to charge me for it because I had helped her with some healing that she needed done to her leg. But um, some of the pods are a little bit on the bigger side. This one is really big. This I would use either to feed to the chickens, collect the seed, or to powder up for okra powder. And there is some okra powder. And this replaces my cornstarch or arrowroot in my dishes. I can use it for soups and stews. I can use it for gravies. There's many uses for it. Plus, it's adding a nutritional value to my meal, and it will not spike my sugar. Okra is one of those keto friendly, diabetic friendly, low carb vegetables that so many people don't like because it's slimy. But in the powder form, it's not as slimy. And when I dehydrate them in my dehydrator, which I'm doing today, to make a keto snack, I'm going to be dehydrating them and they will not have that sliminess to them. The dehydrator kind of takes care of that. So I have pulled some spices. You could do any kind of spice that you want to use. I've got a mock Mrs. Dash that's homemade. I have a herbal blend, which I love, and I'm going to use this today along with some tomato powder made from tomato skins. Another one I pulled out would be Italian seasoning. You could use dip seasonings like ranch dip or any kind of dip seasoning that you might have on hand to flavor it, or you could just use plain old salt and pepper, or you could use garlic and onion. You could come up with many combinations for your okra snack. So I'm making sure I've got the two that I'm going to use today towards the front, and we're going to get into how to prepare this for the dehydrator. And then tomorrow morning I'm going to be opening up my dehydrator, pulling it out and showing you what it looks like and doing a taste test. When you store this, you're going to store them in glass jars. You can store them depending on what you use. If you use something with sugar, like cinnamon and sugar, you will not want to use one of those oxygen absorbers. You would want to use a bay leaf to store your okra, and you could use your sealer to actually pull out the air and seal your jars. This will be shelf stable and it will last for a long time. Now we prefer the smaller okra pods like that. But sometimes they get away from you. I'm going to put in the description box some information about making okra powder and some information about what I'm doing today, and along with some benefits of eating okra. My first step is to rinse my okra off, and I'm going to dry my okra. You want to get some of that moisture off of your okra before you cut it up. It is recommended to cut it into 1/4 to 1/2 inch pieces, but you can cut it a little larger. I am going to remove the caps. You can also slice it lengthwise if you don't want just little round pieces. I am going to do it with the rounds because it's just easier for me to dehydrate. And I've pulled a bowl back here to capture all my okra in. I'm going to do a couple of batches to fill my trays up, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. And I'm saving the ends, and these will be fed to our chickens. Nothing goes to waste. Now these are going to shrivel up some, so you want to take that into consideration when you're cutting your okra up. I decided to tip the okra as well because it does shrink up and it can fall through your trays. And I decided to cut my okra just a little bit thicker. That way it doesn't shrivel as much. But you cut it how you like it. All right, I'm going to take a break of cutting. I've got plenty more to do. Just to give you an idea of what I'm doing here, I'm going to take this herb blend and I'm going to start with about a tablespoon. Now you use as much or as little seasoning as you'd like, and you can adjust it after it comes out. But I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this over the okra. And I think I have the recipe for this somewhere in my files. I'll look and see if I have it. And because I want it to have a little bit of a tomato paste or a tomato flavor, because okra and tomatoes go really well together, I'm going to go ahead and add a tablespoon of my tomato powder. Now my herb blend has sage and thyme and all kinds of good herbs in it, and you just want to shake this and kind of get it all coated. And you want it to kind of look like that. Let me get my tray out. And I'm just going to pick it up, shake off excess, and lay it out on my tray. Because okra has holes in the middle from the seed pods, it dehydrates relatively quick. And it is a tasty alternative to popcorn. Let me tell you, this is going to be so, so delicious. And y'all, it smells amazing. You could do pizza seasoning and do pizza okra. You could do it in all different flavors and have a different snack every day of your week. So we're going to take advantage of all this okra that's coming in right now, because it is coming in fast and heavy. And if I feel like it didn't get enough seasoning on it before I put it in the dehydrator, I can always add some seasoning afterwards, which is a good thing. So I'm going to continue to fill my trays, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with our product. This is a great way to use up your okra and have something nutritious for your family to snack on. I usually set all of my trays to 145 degrees because my dehydrator, that is the best temperature for me. But you go according to your manual on your dehydrator as to what temperature you go. This will go 12 to 24 hours in my dehydrator. It may go less, it may go more. But what I'm looking for when it comes out of the dehydrator, that I can snap it in half and there will be no flexibility in the okra pieces. Well, it's a brand new day and it's time to check that okra that was in the dehydrator. So there it is out of the dehydrator. Yum, yum. You hear that snap? That's what you want to hear. And it will crumble in your hand if it's ready. Mmm. Got my jar ready? Mmm. So good. So tasty. I'm going to be cleaning up a mess this morning because I have more okra to process. But I've gotten all the seasoning off my sheet, so I will reuse my sheet since it only held okra. And I'm going to show you the mess I've got in my kitchen. Well, I may have lost my video, but that's all right. If I'm going to use the vacuum sealer, I would wipe the rim of this with some vinegar. I would apply my flat, wait for it to suction out all the air. But I know I'm going to be eating this up quickly, and I don't have any sugar in my spices. However, if I had sugar in there, I would use 2 bay leaves and just place them on top, do my sealer, and then you don't have to put the ring on, but I'm going to put the ring on because it's going into my pantry. This will be eaten up very, very quickly, but it'll make a nice little snack for me when I want a snack that's not real high in carbs, and I want some crunch, and I want some flavor, and maybe I want popcorn. This is why I used a towel on my counter, and you can see a lot of the spice in my sink, but it makes it so much easier to clean up. I simply fold the towel, wipe down my counter, and then I can shake out my towel and put it in the laundry. Towel all shook out. It's going into the laundry, and I need to get my sink cleaned up, and then we'll be back. Let me know in comments if this is something that you might try in your home. I think it is delicious. It's nutritious. It's a great way to use up the okra that's growing in abundance right now. And it's delicious. Y'all, this is going to be a great snack for me as a diabetic and trying to stay on that keto-friendly diet. I can make many, many flavors and have a different flavor every day of the week. More to come on this for my pantry. How about yours? Hey friends, thank you so much for watching my channel. Thank you for the many comments, the likes, the friendships, and for sharing this content out. Take a moment and watch all of the advertisements because that is how I get monetized and get paid. I appreciate each and every one of you for your time and your patience. And y'all, I have this special content over here I think you might like.